Hi, I'm Lou Gallagher. You know, the more expensive car you drive, the more likely you are to be a jerk.
Hey, I'm Corvette Ronnie. We'll be thinning the herd next.
On Men Are So Smart. You know, everybody hates aggressive jerks on the highways, but they may be easier to spot and avoid. According to multiple studies, the more expensive the car, the more likely that the driver is a jerk. A jerk is defined by the two studies that research the matter as someone who is likely to cut off another driver and is less likely to stop for pedestrians crossing the street. Ruh-roh.
That's not good. This suggests that the wealthier drivers may reflect adherence to ethical codes geared towards maximizing one's self-interest.
Here we go again.
Yeah, I think we've struck on this chord before. And often that's at the expense of others, said psychologist Jeremy Boyd. Another study titled Higher Social Class Predicts Increased Unethical Behavior.
Boy, how do you get a gig there?
What's that acronym? I'll have to work on that. This is led by Paul Fiff, mentions that this behavior isn't confined to just driving as it manifests itself across other walks of life.
It does. It's this synchronicity
It's
in a bad way.
Yeah.
Upper class individuals' relative independence from others and increased privacy in their professions may provide fewer structural constraints and decrease perception of risk associated with committing unethical acts. Their findings suggest the pursuit of self-interest is a more fundamental motive among society's elite, and the increased want associated with greater wealth and status can promote wrongdoing. I can't tell you how many times I see a driver driving like a freaking idiot through traffic that's going 55 because there's so much of it, and this guy thinks he needs to do 70. The rest of us understand that the speed limit right now that is safe for the highway is approximately 55 because of the traffic.
Right.
But this guy, wherever he's going, whatever he's doing, whoever he's meeting, it's more important than us.
Way more important.
We should know that by now.
Yeah, move out of my way.
Do you not
Keon.
know who I am?
Yes, you peasant. But I have to tell you, just yesterday, coming back from a show in the morning that I went to, a used car lot thing, there was a guy in a beat up, it had to be an old Camry or Corolla with every fender was a different color.
Right.
And he was weaving in and out, windows down, had no air conditioning obviously because it was warm, and weaving in and out and cutting people off. I don't know if you had to go to the bathroom or what the deal was, but there are jerks at every socioeconomic level. It might be a little more heavily weighted towards those who have a lot more money, but in this case, I don't think this was, freaking Bill Gates driving this car.
Or could we say that that is the exception rather than the rule?
That might be the exception rather than the rule. Yeah.
I don't know, Ronnie. We've talked about this many times. I've talked about it on my car show on the radio, and we've talked about it here. There is so much good you can do by simply being courteous and giving a little wave in your back window like this. Thank you. I really appreciate you letting me in.
With all your fingers up.
All, yeah, not just the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so much good can be done. So much good can come from just that. So much bad can come from that other finger.
Right.
And that is like pouring gasoline on a fire.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? We talked about this too. Sometimes you don't even know that you're the bad driver that's causing these problems.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't realize that the speed limit is 65 on the freeway. Officer Ron gives us a grace period of about 7 miles per hour, roughly.
Right.
So 71 is a good speed to go. If you're doing 55 in a left lane of a 2-lane highway, you may not only just be going unsafe speed, you may be the cause of a crash behind you and not even ever know that.
Yep.
How many times do you see that, Ron?
And there is a law in the books pertaining to holding up traffic behind you. If you are doing 55 in a 65 zone, and there are numerous cars stacked up behind you, and you refuse to yield, you could get a ticket.
You should get a ticket.
You should get a ticket by all means.
And I'm not sitting here proclaiming that I need to go 80 miles an hour. I'm not even suggesting that. What I am suggesting is, if 65 is the speed, that's the minimum speed.
Right.
The minimum. If you can't drive that speed, you know what? And another thing, get off of my lawn. I'm sorry, I had to get that out. If you can't drive the minimum speed, you don't belong on the highway.
No.
It's unsafe.
Just not too long ago, Vicky and I were driving down Highway 50, and we, like I've said several times before, I'm kind of retired, and so I'm not in too much of a hurry to get anywhere. And I typically drive in the far right-hand lane, and I'll go exactly the speed limit, not one above or one below, but just right at the speed limit, which is at least 5 miles an hour too slow for most people. But I'm as far over as I can go, and I have my cruise control set, and I don't want to have to touch it again. So I am at 65 miles an hour, and there was a car in front of me doing probably 10 miles an hour slower, at least 10 miles an hour slower. And as we pulled alongside, it was an older woman who she was in a really nice car, but she had no business being on the freeway. You know what? I'm sorry, but even in the slow lane, and thankfully it was a weekend, and so not tremendous amounts of traffic, but there was enough that people were coming up on her, and then their car nosedives as like, wow, this person is going way too slow.
Yeah.
It's not safe. If you, and like I said, she was elderly, probably had, and there is something we can do here in California that law enforcement can do, and we can send somebody in for a reassessment, a skill reassessment test, which means they get behind the wheel with somebody from DMV in the passenger seat, and they make them go out and do a driver's test.
Just like a teenager would.
Just like a teenager, except they also make them get on the freeway. And if they are deficient in enough areas, they pull their license. And I think that's probably the right way to go. And had I been working that day in a patrol function, I may have tossed her one of those. It's not a ticket. It just says, hey, you need to go down and get yourself reassessed.
I see.
And it makes it safer on the road for everyone.
Yeah.
Honestly, old people are as big a cause of traffic problems as are young or
jerks
or rich people driving expensive cars.
There you go. All right, that brings us to thinning the herd. Here we go. Oh, dude, love those graphics. U.S. Marshals, fugitive of the week, found. Where? Tanning in the backyard. U.S. Marshals say they found a New Hampshire fugitive of the week tanning in a family member's backyard in Massachusetts and arrested her quickly.
The U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force featured 35-year-old Amy Beth Tremblay in local media in New Hampshire on July 12th.
Good.
An arrest warrant had been issued for her in March on bail violations following a drug conspiracy charge.
Well, she sounds like a nice girl.
She's actually very wonderful, I'm
sure she is.
Yes.
The task force said Wednesday that tipsters, I'd like to put that down on my income tax form as my form of income,
tipster,
reported seeing Tremblay sunning herself in a yard in Haverhill, Massachusetts. They showed up and about 2 hours later decided to arrest her.
She was a little bit hard to get handcuffs on because she was very oiled down.
Of course.
So she was slippery.
Yeah, and they had to take their time.
Yeah. So she was jailed in Boscawen, New Hampshire.
But not good to know.
Yes. So keep me away from that place.
We can go visit her.
She was scheduled to appear in federal court in Concord on Thursday. Wasn't immediately known if she had a lawyer.
That always says that.
But she did have a tan.
And tan marks.
Yes.
Or maybe not. I don't know. Only our hairdresser knows for sure. Story number 2. Authorities in Florida say they arrested a man who robbed a bank. Sure, that happens quite frequently.
Yep.
But what he did next was he stripped down naked and ran down the street throwing the stolen money. All because he had a dream. He woke up on Tuesday and wanted to become a comedian.
Wow, that dream is right up there with Martin Luther King's.
I have a dream.
Yes, that's amazing. Well, I don't know. Instead, the FBI says 25-year-old Alexander Sperber is charged with bank robbery. So he'll be doing stand-up in prison for a while.
So he'll be doing the bars.
Yes. He's doing the bar circuit.
A federal complaint says the man told authorities he parked his car at the bank. And that's a good start.
Never want to park too far away.
No.
Yeah.
Why not even just choose the handicap spot?
Bingo.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay, so he parked at the bank. He made a gun motion with his hand.
Hey, don't make me use this.
And demanded money from the teller, who gave him about $4,700.
That's a pretty good take.
For a fake gun?
Yeah.
Dang. Officials say a red dye pack. I knew this was coming. This was a great invention way back when.
I love these.
Officials say a red dye pack exploded, and remember, this guy's naked,
Yeah.
staining himself and a cast on his left wrist. Kind of hard to find a guy with a red cast sticking out in the crowd, right?
Well, he was taken to a hospital. He was found to be coherent and uninjured, and it's also unclear if he has an attorney.
I told you.
But he will be needing one.
Yeah, eventually.
There's no doubt.
And you know, Ronnie, while we're thinning the herd, you told me a story about being retired and watching TV commercials.
Yes.
Tell us that. Share that story again about attorneys.
So I spend a lot of time Monday through Friday, at midday, 10 till about 1 in the afternoon, watching TV courtroom shows like Judge Judy and Judge Faith. And
Judge Judy is his favorite. Don't let him fool you.
Judge Judy is amazing. I love Judge Judy. But on every commercial break, there are commercials for attorneys, personal injury attorneys.
Accident injury
attorneys. You've fallen, you slipped, you're in a car accident, you're injured, and you're not at work. Hence, what are you doing right now? You're watching TV. So the show's target audience is retired people and people that can't go to work because they're injured.
Yeah.
And so they have nailed this demographic down, and these personal injury attorneys, I can't even begin to tell you how many there are. There's a dozen or so.
Oh, gotta be.
That use these, and
some of them are so bad. We won't even go into it.
Some of them have very straightforward and not, amusing commercials. Some of them have what they think are funny, still unamusing commercials.
One I saw with a baseball and a bat or something like that. Yeah.
They're just not, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Just tell people, hey, if you want to get some more free money, if you're on disability and you want to extend it, maybe get a lawsuit.
Yeah, so you can watch more TV.
Yeah, so you can watch more Judge Judy. Obviously, you're in an accident. It's not your fault. Somebody else. We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
You have to be able to displace the blame onto
Don't
somebody else. Don't own whatever you've done that causes you to be disabled.
And who better to represent you than an accident attorney injury?
Yeah, an attorney.
They're the best.
Oh. And I say this as I'm settling an accident claim as we speak.
Do you smell that? I think that's sarcasm. Could be.
So there's a little bit of hypocrisy there, but this accident was not my fault. I was just sitting on the road. Somebody on their phone was texting, ran into the back of me at 60 miles an hour, never touched their brakes, and literally bent my truck in half and caused me to have shoulder surgery and back and neck issues. And although I am back to work, so I went back to work almost immediately. So you can't hold me to that low standard.
Yeah, but you're also retired.
I am retired.
I'm
so confused. I shouldn't be back to work.
Right.
But, I have these hobbies that are expensive.
Here's a funny thing. I'm bringing this up. I've never talked to him about this before. Remember years ago when I had the idea to do the show, I came to you and I said, I really want to do this. And you said to me, well, I'll have more time once I'm retired.
Right.
And so I waited. I waited and I waited. I'm still working.
Yeah.
I am more flexible than he is in retirement.
I still don't have the time.
I know.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
It's kind of crazy. I have a wife and I have 2 dogs and I have a son living at home.
So you don't have to explain to me.
So I still have expenses.
Yeah, I guess you do.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you're a member of the Thinning the Herd Club, be sure and be watching Judge Judy because we've got some commercials just for you.
We should advertise on there.
That'd be a good idea.
That's not exactly our demographic.
No.
But, yeah.
Men are so smart, kinda. That will be our commercial, our theme. No. All right. So we hope you've enjoyed this issue, the webisode of Men Are So Smart. If you did enjoy it, please like it. And if you care to, please also comment. We love your comments.
If you didn't enjoy it, then get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
what are you doing here?
We don't need you.
We don't need you.
We enjoy you listening, but
there's the door.
There it is. Don't let it hit you where the good Lord
split you.
That's it. Thank you. Okay, that's going to about do it. Information for us to contact us is below. We've got another inbox full episode coming up, so get your emails in right now.
Yeah.
Another good way that you can help us is if you share this through Messenger with a couple of friends and let them check out the show.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll enjoy it as well. I've seen the demographics and it's really almost split between men and women who enjoy this show. That's called Men Are So Smart. My name is Lou Gallagher.
I'm Corvette Ronnie.
Subscribe right there to Men Are So Smart.